there will be a sentence in it that we are doing this to make a statement to fight protectionist tendencies. We will. There will be also language in it that this goes on as a complement to the Doha talks, which are at the moment stalled. And when you're in politics, sometimes the second best is still good enough. Sometimes they are not even fourth best solutions. So we are
not only politics, but
and this is not a process which goes on since 1 year. It's developing since 2 to 5 years already. So I don't see this as very negative, and we still hope it gets momentum and will push also in the medium term Doha to more activity.
Frank?
Just want to echo Jörn's remarks and just to say that if we get to this decision on May the 6th to launch negotiations, that's just the first day of it. I don't imagine, given that this is a fairly comprehensive and probably complicated negotiation, that we will have an agreement the day after. I think it will take some time, and we will have to see what economic events, world economic events, and how things unfold during the course of these negotiations. I think Premier Charest was talking about 2 years between launch and conclusion. That would be great if we could get it in 2 years, but it may not be 2 years. You've seen how long the Doha round has gone. It has gone basically through the whole Bush presidency, and we're now into the Obama presidency, and we're getting some convergence, but we're not there yet. Now, I don't think if we get the two sides that it will take as long as that, but again, it will. There is a number of players on both sides of the Atlantic in there that have legitimate say and in it all. So it will take some time.
Jason, final word?
Well, I'd just say, there's the caveat that there always is a risk that something may pop up. But I'd just say one thing, it's not always, there's this tendency to see trade as part of all the problems. So I'll give you an example. Here you have Sweden. Sweden has free trade with all its neighbors. Sweden has no capital gains taxes. Sweden has a very sort of progressive and innovative industry sector. No one would ever look at Sweden and say that they've ignored the rights of their citizens, or that they've basically, let capitalism run wild in their country. Yet they're like indisputably free traders. And then you can take a look at, say, for instance, if you look at the United States as a country that is also supporting a free trade. But what's the real reason that there's been like a creation of inequity in these types of societies? Is it because of free trade and moving jobs overseas, or is it because of like tax rates that favor incredibly wealthy people and punish working people? Is it the insurance employment premiums that run out after a few weeks? I mean, what's the real reason for the problem? And I think that if you take a sort of a really sort of objective look at things, that trade often isn't the policy, isn't the problem it's made out to be. It's other domestic economic and political decisions that are made by the countries that may or may not practice free trade.
Yeah, if I just can add one sentence. If you would ask the chief economist of the German Trade Union Federation if he has any objections to this trade agreement with Canada, I'm sure the answer would be no. It might be different with India, but not with Canada. For the same reasons you said. It's about standards. It's not only market access.
I have to throw the phone over here. Okay. There is some experience in that. So, thanks very much. This was we have to finish now. This was but it's you still opened up a lot of topics we'll discuss tomorrow in breadth and length. Thanks for making this happen. Now, before everybody's leaving, when we leave this room to go outside to the lobby, we'll find some nice food, wine, and this encouraged me, and not only I need to say who has made this all happen. And a conference like this obviously costs a lot of money, and nothing would have happened without all this support. Let me first mention, there's a whole list. Obviously, the Federal Ministry of Economics and Technology of Germany, they are funding the overall huge project. We have also funding from the Canadian side. There's the Social Science Humanities Research Council, where we, as an institute, with 5 other Canadian universities, we are able to form a consortium. We got a 7-year grant for doing EU-Canada kind of topics. Actually, this short cluster initiative, knowledge cluster, will held pretty soon, early in June, the Europe launch in the Canadian Embassy in Berlin, with 20 scholars from Canada and 20 from Europe, talking not only about trade, environment, and a lot of other issues. So those are the 2 institutions I want, from an institutional point, to mention. Then obviously there was the German consul, who was, like always, very supportive of what we are doing here. So the German consulate in Vancouver helped to make this happen. The same is true for the Dutch consulate in Vancouver. We have the nice support of the Italian Chamber of Commerce. And finally, the wines you are finding outside are from Select Wines. Werner Schönberger, who wasn't able to make it this evening, but you will like it if you go outside. Thanks so much for coming, and hopefully we see each other with all of you tomorrow. Thank you.